I spent 3 years learning all I can about wood burning and realized that I did it all wrong. The one tip I wish someone would have told me when I started is don't use wood.
What?
Seriously, this isn't a joke and I'm not insane. I know this sounds cuckoo banana pants, but just hear me out. Let's talk about the skills you need to be a wood burning artist. Start with that last word, artist. Artistry is something that we all strive towards. Some of us are closer than others, but you can start burning without artistic talent and learn as you go. This is something that will continue to improve as you hone your craft. The next skill you're going to need is pyrographer, someone who burns images. To be a skilled pyrographer, you have to understand your tools and how to use them. You need to understand the process of burning with different tip shapes and temperatures. You can get the basics down in about 60 days. After that, it's a lifetime of learning. And the last part of wood burning artist, wood. You have to be a woodworker. You have to procure and shape wood. You can bypass the shaping by buying ready to burn wood, but you still have to find a supplier. You also have to know how to prep the wood before you start burning it and how to prep it for a finish, then also applying a finish when you're done. To be a wood burning artist, you need to develop all three of these skills. If you're lacking in any one of them, the final product will be compromised. Becoming an artist or a pyrographer is fairly simple. It's easy to learn the basics, then you improve as you go along. But being a woodworker is very different. It has a steep learning curve and a lot of initial investment. What if we put woodworker on the back burner? That means not using wood at first. Instead of the steep learning curve of woodworking, we learn how to be a pyrographer first. By removing wood from the equation, you take away most of the frustration. Instead of burning wood, we'd have to find something else. Something that was readily available, inexpensive, non-toxic, and works well for burning. Watercolor paper. Can you actually do high quality burning on watercolor paper? Let's look at my sketchbook. A few months ago, I started playing around with paper pyrography, and I bought a sketchbook with hot press watercolor paper. I've been using it to practice different ideas and techniques. Burning paper is very similar to burning wood, but there are a few differences. First, watercolor paper will take a higher heat. That sounds weird, but it's because the fibers are compressed. When those fibers are tightly packed, it takes more heat to burn through it. With wood, you're just burning on the top layer. There's no compressed fibers if you prepped it correctly. Even though it does take a higher heat, if you turn it up too high, it'll burn right through. This will help you learn your burner. You'll know when you've gone too high, how high you really need to be to get full black, and then shading in the lower temperatures. Watercolor paper is smooth. There's no grain lines to worry about. It can be frustrating burning a high detail piece on wood and having the grain lines pick up the heat and burn unevenly. You don't have to worry about that with watercolor paper. Burning on watercolor will not fade. Wood is an organic material that darkens as it ages. How your burning looks fresh is completely different than what it will look like in 2 years. With each year, the wood gets just a little bit darker. You don't have to worry about this with watercolor paper. It's never going to fade if you display it properly. Once you're done, you don't even have to finish it. You can just leave it loose. You can put it in a frame, mount it between glass, or attach it to a backer board, whatever you want, but you have the options. Now, all watercolor paper is not the same. One option you'll see is cold press or hot press. I found that hot press works better for burning. Cold press paper is rough. They call this tooth. Apparently that's good for watercolors, but it's horrible for burning. Hot press paper is smooth. There's nothing to stop your tip, and you can go in any direction. It's easier to burn than wood. If you're still not convinced, let's talk about price. How much does it cost to burn your first 12 pieces? First, you're going to need a burner. If you're burning wood or paper, you're going to need the machine. So that doesn't change. If you're using wood for your first 12 pieces, you're going to need 12 pieces of wood. If you jump on Amazon and buy from one of the most popular distributors, you can buy their value 6-pack for $55.80 a piece. To do 12 of them, you need 2 packs, so we're looking at $111.60. Before you burn the wood, you're going to need to prep it. That means you're going to need sandpaper. The least expensive assortment that I can find was $13.99. This pack would get you through prepping 12 pieces. You'll also need a sanding block. If you want your piece of wood to be flat, your sandpaper has to be flat as well. The least expensive one I can find was $3.98. Sawdust is hazardous to your health, so you have to be careful when sanding. This package of disposable dust masks cost $15.72, and it would get you through your first 12 pieces. You've prepped your piece, you've burned it, but then you have to finish it. Unless you're using a weather-resistant wood, you'll need to put a finish on your piece. One of the easiest is spray can polyurethane. To get through 12 pieces, you're going to need approximately 2 cans of this at $9.97 a piece. That spray urethane is also toxic. You don't want to breathe it in. So you'll also need a painter's respirator. The least expensive one I can find was $17.99, and you will have to replace the filters occasionally. I would not recommend either sanding or finishing without these safety precautions. If we take that wood and all the materials and put it together, it would cost you $183.22 to do your first 12 pieces. Now this is aside from the burner, but what if we could take that $183.22 and turn it into $32.54? That's a savings of $150.68. If you start with watercolor paper, you're going to need 12 sheets of high quality hot press watercolor paper. I got this book of 12 sheets for $18.76. But you can't get away with just that. You will need 2 more supplies. The first is a backer board. I use a piece of 1/8 inch basswood plywood. You can buy a 12-inch square of this at any hobby shop or online retailer for about $8. You need this because when you burn the paper, the heat will carry through to whatever is behind it as well. So if you don't want to burn your desk, the plywood will get burned instead. And the last supply you're going to need is a way to secure the watercolor paper on the plywood: masking tape. This purple low tack has been perfect for me. You can take it off easily without tearing the paper, and it costs $5.79. With your watercolor paper, your plywood backer, and your masking tape, it's $32.54. This is the total cost for your first 12 pieces. It's easier, it's cheaper, and it's more effective. Once you've done your 12 pieces on watercolor paper, you'll have the skills and confidence to move on to wood. You won't worry so much about wasting material. Then you can slowly learn woodworking as you go along. You may never get past the point of prepping and finishing, but those are 2 skills that you will need to master. I'm throwing out a challenge to all beginners or people who may have been burning for a while but want to improve their skills. Don't touch another piece of wood until you've done 12 pieces on watercolor paper. You have absolutely nothing to lose. If it works out, you've gained new skills. If it doesn't work out, you still have 12 pieces that you practiced and completed, and you saved $150 doing it. If you decide to take me up on my challenge, let me know in the comments. Tag me in what you're doing on Instagram. Let me know your progress. I hope you decide to take me up on this challenge, and happy burning.